Okay, hey guys. So, welcome. This is Tuesday night with Marcy, I guess. So, my name's Marcy, and I'm a real estate agent here in Norman, Oklahoma, the Oklahoma City Metro. So, I kind of mixed up how my studio looks here tonight, and I'm kind of playing with my lighting. So, if it looks a little bit different, that's what's going on. And hopefully, you guys can hear me really well. All right, so we're going to look at two different articles tonight, but I'm going to turn down this music first. Do you ever do that? Like turn down the music to figure out where you're going in the car? Because I feel like I do that all the time. But anyway. Oh, hey, perfect. We got some people coming on. So on Tuesday nights, I get on here live on YouTube and talk about what's going on in the news, things that pertain to Norman, things that pertain to Oklahoma City to help you figure out and catch up on news if you live here. But if you don't live here, then to learn more about what it's like to live in Norman. So the two articles that I have tonight, and guys, I'm a reader. Like I know that I should like watch the news, but I don't. I definitely like reading. So one article a client actually sent to me. I read it last night and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's so good." And I'm sure they talked about it on the news, but I read it on K4's website. And then the other one is actually an article in Southern Living, and Mayor Holtz, the mayor of Oklahoma City, posted that one. So if you'll do me a favor and go ahead and hit that like button on this video so that other people might see it as well, even if they're not joining us right now. And if you have joined us, go ahead and comment for me. If you'd like to, you don't have to because I never do if I'm watching a live, but I would love for you to comment, say where you're watching from. And anytime you have a question while we're talking, just go ahead and drop that in the comments and I'll be able to answer it for you. So here we go. So the first article that I have, let's add this up here. And there we go. The first article that I have that my dear client sent is telling us that a bunch of people have moved to Oklahoma. So in 2022, it said that 117,000 people moved to Oklahoma in 2022. And that 85,000 people moved out of Oklahoma. So that's a lot that moved out, but it's also a lot that moved in. So Oklahoma's population has actually gone up to 3.97 million. You may have seen in my latest video, I think that was last week or the week before, probably the week before, where I talked about how Oklahoma, this population is the same size as the population of LA. So 4 million in LA, 4 million in Oklahoma. Sorry, my cat's like giving me the evil eye, like, who are you talking to? So she might jump up here in a second, but I doubt it because the light is just strong and she doesn't like that. So anyway, so 118,000 people really moved to Oklahoma in 2022. And 26,000 of them moved from Texas. So each year we get between 20,000 and 30,000 people that move from Texas to Oklahoma. And that's not like students or anything. That's like actually moving residences. And this is all census stuff. Oh my gosh, guys, my cat is about to fall off the cat tree. I wish I could turn it I wish I could turn it around for you to see. I think she might be stuck. Are you okay? Oh my goodness. She made it. She's not a big jumper, so she climbs a lot. So a huge chunk came to Oklahoma from Texas. And then we have, where is it? There it is. 15,200 people moved from California to Oklahoma. And honestly, that sounded like a really small number to me. I felt like it was more because a lot of you guys who I talked to from my YouTube channel, you're typically coming from California. So I thought it would be more than 15,000 to be honest, but it wasn't. So other states that we get a lot of people, a lot of residents from, a lot of transplants are going to be Kansas. So that was like 7,400 people. Colorado, Missouri, and Arizona. I feel like I get a lot of calls from Arizona, a lot of people moving. I've helped a few different people move from Arizona to Oklahoma. And I feel like we're missing Washington State. on this list. So if you are from Washington State, you can give a shout out because I thought it would be more from Washington State, but apparently not. And then Arkansas, of course, is also on the list at 4,200 people. So it I was just surprised by some of these states that like didn't make it onto the list, right? So I don't know. Give me your thoughts on that. Yeah, and then the last point that it makes is that Oklahoma's population is right at 3.97 million. So, I mean, same size as LA. So here we go. Perfect. Moving on to my other article that I wanted to cover here. So, here's how this went down. I was on Facebook. I follow Mayor Holt of Oklahoma City because I get a lot of news from him as well. Super interesting guy. And he posted this article. And I'm like, okay, yeah, Oklahoma City is a cool place. I'll give you that. I go, like, I think I've been twice this week already to Oklahoma City. Some people go more than that. Some people go less. I don't have to drive there every day, but sometimes I do, no matter what. It's not very far from Norman at all. I'll go, for a quick trip for an afternoon, even to go out to a specific restaurant that I want to go to. Like, that's what me and my husband do. And this article said, there are all these cool things, 35 best things to do in Oklahoma City. And I kind of expected a little bit more from this than what it had. However, there are a lot of amazing things just like what they're talking about in Oklahoma City in Norman. And that's the comparison that I wanted to make for you. We've been talking a lot about Norman and the growth that it's been going through on our Tuesday night shows. So I just think that people I hear a lot of people moving to Edmond. Edmond is a great town, but don't discount Norman for what it has and the growth that's happening here really quickly in the future because of stuff with the University of Oklahoma. Okay, so this is outlining great southern cities like Atlanta, Nashville, New Orleans, and saying that Oklahoma City is up and coming. We are now Oklahoma City. I don't live in Oklahoma City. I live in Norman. Oklahoma City is now the 20th largest city in the US. And then it has this list. So, Oklahoma City actually made the top 100 foodie cities in the world, which is pretty incredible. It wasn't like number 2 or anything, but it was like number, 80, which is pretty great. We do have a really great restaurant scene that we didn't it's just been like in the past like 5 years that it feels like we have everything, that we could possibly need. Of course, when we go to Dallas or Austin or Houston, we still get a lot more options and sometimes better options, but Oklahoma City, it's pretty great. So the restaurants that it points out is Jones Assembly, Flint, and Ludovine, which are great restaurants. I will give them that. However, in Norman, we have some others that Handsome and I like to go to a lot, or I like to go to by myself. Sorry, I'm getting back to my list over here that I made for you. So other restaurants in Norman that we like to go to like Red Rock, Pub W, Charleston's, Pepe Delgado's, like, to me, these are on par with these restaurants in Oklahoma City, which are great restaurants. I'll give you that. And I think Norman has things that are just as good as these places in Oklahoma City. And it's just not something that we see being publicized, right? And with OU going to the SEC, we're going to see even more investment, especially from other states. So I think that's something that you've got to keep in mind as you're looking at Norman and looking at the possibilities within the town. The next thing it brought up, it brings up like Cattleman's, Spark, which I don't know where Spark is. I don't think I've been there. Burger Punk, that's a pretty random reference to me. I don't know. Burger Punk was good, but there's like a ton of burger places. We have a ton of burger places in Norman as well, but you just have to remember that we're not going to have as many as Oklahoma City because Oklahoma City is 700,000 people and Norman is 128,000 people. Norman's the 3rd largest city in Oklahoma. It brings up some other ones like Barrio's Fine Mexican Dishes. I think that restaurant is a little bit overrated, personally. I think you can get some really good Mexican food a lot of other places. Nunu's Mediterranean Cafe, which I haven't been to, Riviere Modern Banh Mi. So I don't know if you know this, but Oklahoma City has a huge Vietnamese population. They have done so much for the community, and there are a lot of Vietnamese restaurants in Oklahoma City. I tried out a new one the other day on the south side, basically southwest Oklahoma City, and it was incredible. So there's a lot of other places besides what's in this list. So I challenge you to find a good spot, right? Sidecar Bunker Club. I've never been there. I don't even know if I've heard of that. And then our breweries, like I know people that hang out at breweries every single day. They're fantastic. I don't personally drink a ton of beer because, I don't I don't want to every single day. And there are some really great spots like Prairie Artisan Ales. They have a really great dark beer that's one of my favorites that I drink in the winter because that's when people drink dark beer, apparently, even though I could drink it all year long. So next they had this piece on local culture at museums. So Oklahoma City has a lot of great museums. Some are ranked really highly in terms of museums in the US. So First Americans Museum, it's amazing. I think they're having, well, you can go like with a docent or with, someone to give you a tour at the First Americans Museum. I haven't been on top of the mound. So what they did for this museum, and they're building and we've gone over this in other lives in the past weeks, but they're building a resort next to this museum. And it's already gone up for the most part. There'll be a lot of pieces added to it, but it's already there, like the structure, and you'll be able to see it if you drive. It's on I-40 and I-35. So at like the intersection and like MLK or Reno. No, it's MLK. And from the top, it's supposed to be like a certain celestial event. I can't remember at the moment, but it's pretty incredible. And then the mound on the outside, which is like the big dirt pile, is there to keep it from flooding, but it also like creates this like circular pattern, right? From above, which is really incredible. And they're still opening parts of that museum. I highly suggest that you check it out. And there's a very good restaurant in there as well that you should check out. I think we went for lunch. There's a lot of corn. Like every single dish has corn. So just make a note. And then you have the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum, of course, Oklahoma City National Memorial. All these are really great. Norman itself actually has the Sam Noble Museum of Natural History, which has basically a different event specifically for children, typically every single week. That one, you do have to pay a fee to go in. I think it's $12 or $15. I think it's absolutely worth it. It's incredible. I really like the woolly mammoth on the inside. And then Fred Jones, which is my personal favorite. It's the art museum, and I need to go in because they have a special exhibit that I want to see. But that one's actually free because it has an endowment. So I go in several times a year to take a look at the art. But I think those two museums are on par or close to what Oklahoma City has. Oh, we have some new people that joined us. Hello, welcome. Okay, next, seeking out the arts. We kind of already talked about this. Oklahoma City does have the Oklahoma City Museum of Art. I am a member because I'm kind of a nerd, but I really like to go. So I drag some other people with me when I go. They want to go. And then we also have the Oklahoma Contemporary Arts Center, which is new, and it's also free to go. So I tend to go there a lot too. And then Factory Obscura is also in Oklahoma City. There is also Main Site Contemporary in Norman. And then like the Norman Arts Council does a lot within the city as well. And I think I haven't looked into this because like I don't have a ton of time. Oh, hey, Jason. Nice to see you, sir. I love Oklahoma City as well, but I know you also like Moore. So, but Moore doesn't quite have all the things that we're talking about. But essentially, what was I saying? Oh, we have this kind of new art space in Norman attached to this newer restaurant called The Standard. And I know they have art lessons. And I did a lot of art as a kid in high school. and younger, of course. And so I've thought about taking an art class, but I have to carve out the time to do that. So that's tough, but I can do it. So other arts district in Oklahoma City, Paseo Arts and Plaza. And then in Norman, we don't get the districts, of course, as much because we're only a city of 128,000 people. However, downtown Norman is incredible. It is on the rise, I would say. Like, I was in Sapulpa recently and I loved that downtown. And I don't think Norman is quite there yet. But I'm very excited with what the SEC, what going to that conference for OU, what kind of money that's going to bring into our town, and just keeping people here for their entertainment instead of going to other cities. I think that we're going to see Norman flourish under that. And so I'm excited to see that. And then we also have, of course, campus itself, which kind of feels like its own city some of the time. And that it's incredible that OU can be kind of its own city and that it's part of Norman itself. Okay, neighborhood hopping. They talk a lot about Bricktown. I never talk about Bricktown in any of my videos because I don't like it. It feels very commercial to me. I also don't really like sports, so I never go to the NBA games. I mean, I think I've been to one. But it's great. There's a lot of stuff to do. I don't remember the last time I went down there. We never go to those restaurants. We're more apt to go to the Paseo or the Plaza, the arts districts, than we are to Bricktown. And sometimes in Norman, we don't go to Campus Corner as much during the school year because it's way busier because, of course, 30,000 students descend on Norman in August and don't leave until May, which is fine. That's good. We want them here. And it makes life very busy, especially around there. Most definitely agree about Norman and the SEC. Yes, I do think I agree with you too, Jason, that things are really going to pick up. And I'm anticipating house prices picking up a lot too. And we've been talking a lot about that on this show. Okay. Other districts that we really like in Oklahoma City, we go to Automobile Alley a lot. That's where Broadway 10 is. Stockyards, I don't go to very much, but probably because there's not a ton of food there, which is kind of why I hang around Oklahoma City. But I think that is also going to be an up and coming spot that was kind of a letdown for the past couple of decades. But I really think that the builds going on around there, it's going to help a lot. And of course, we have Scissortail Park. If you guys haven't been to Scissortail Park in Oklahoma City, you need to go. It's not as great as a gathering place in Tulsa. It's just not. However, it is a very cool place to go, especially on a cloudy day because the trees aren't very big yet. But Scissortail is amazing. But in Norman, so we have a few outdoor spaces. Sutton is my favorite. It's just basically the woods. I think my husband thinks I'm insane, but I go more than once a week to walk there. There's a pond. I see people fishing there all the time. And lately people taking a lot of photos because it's, fall. So they get to take their cute photos. And then we also have Ruby Grant Park, which I've been walking more. I don't know the trails as much. They're very windy, but it's a great winter trail because the trees aren't very tall. And so it can get sunny in the summer, but I'm very excited about exploring more of Ruby Grant this winter. Another thing about Ruby Grant is, of course, there's a disc golf course, and there is also one connected to Sutton. So I know people really love that, and I think it's amazing, and I think it's a really great sport, even if I don't play it, because you get to be outside. All right, we talked about Scissortail Park, we talked about Sutton and Ruby Grant. River sports, of course, in the summer. If you guys haven't watched videos on river sports, I challenge you to go do that. I used to go whitewater rafting there, and then I fell out of the boat, and that hurt. So I haven't really been back. It really hurt, guys. I was in a lot of pain from that one. So one thing that Norman can't really compete with Oklahoma City on is going to be Route 66. So if you guys don't know much about Route 66, there's tons of videos out there. It goes right through Oklahoma, a really cool way to see the U.S. But some interesting spots, like we always point people to Pops, which is up in Arcadia, which is a little town like next to Edmond. It always looks like aliens dropped it in from outer space, which is really cool. But yeah, this I thought was really interesting. So they're pointing out here the National Hotel, which is in Oklahoma City. It's a redone building. I've been inside of the building, which was cool. I haven't been back in a while. I need to go back because it's a great spot to just kind of like hang out for an afternoon. Very expensive if you're going to eat there or have a drink, but it's cool. And then Bradford House. Bradford House is one of my favorite spots. You can see it in this photo here. Like it is a hotel owned by women, and you can just feel that. It's amazing. The restaurant was like just okay. The bakery is excellent. The bar is excellent. The coffee is so good. So absolutely check this place out. And like it's super cute to hang out in. And in Norman, we have the Noun Hotel. So it is our newest hotel, I think. Yeah, I don't think any other ones have opened since that has opened. It has a restaurant. It has, the hotel itself has like, I've taken some video on the outside of it, but not really on the inside. So if you haven't had a chance to pop in there, like game day, it's just hop in. I haven't stayed there because I don't really stay in hotels in my hometown, but you know what I mean. But I am anticipating, and we have been told that more investors are coming in to open more hotels in Norman because we're going to need them for games, especially. So that is all from that. I thought it was really interesting. Like, I love Oklahoma City, but guys, Norman is incredible. And I believe that it's only going to get more incredible at this point. So if you have more questions about Norman, please let me know. You can drop it in the comments. You can give me a call. I'll put my contact information down there. Remember, I am a real estate agent. So if you would like to support me and you need to purchase or sell a house here in Oklahoma, just give me a call and I will see how I can help you. I'd be thrilled to do that. All right, guys. Well, I will see you next week. And thanks so much for watching.